Oh my goodness. Chef Kevza, did you forget?
Forget what?
How one greets an Empress Dowager.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. It's been such a stressful week with the Tanzimat reforms. They will not give me a break.
Seriously, those reforms aren't even radical. I mean, secularism? Been there, done that. Now all my people want is this crazy Hangzhou Quan guy who thinks he's Jesus' brother.
I mean, the reforms are a bit extreme, valuing life, property, and honor for everyone. Courts without the ulama, secular schools. It feels like we're taking the Ottoman out of Ottoman.
Anyways, the Taiping Rebellion, it just keeps heating up. It's like everyone just forgot about Confucianism. As I say, if it hasn't broken for 100 years, why change it? But no, let's all be brothers and sisters. And you know what? The government hates you, and it's stated. Ugh. It's not even our fault. It's just all those stupid Western European countries that force us into unequal treaties. Ugh, I'll never forgive Lord Macartney.
My tea, it's cold. Sunny.
Shh, you must be quiet.
No, why? It's tea. It's an atrocity. It does a disservice to both of our cultures. I see why the young Turks like Turkification so much.
Though as a supporter of the Boxer Rebellion, I can see the temptation to embrace traditionalism. But you know that Turkification goes against the Ottoman Sultan, right? I mean, the Young Turks want a constitutional government.
Okay, and I'm not the Sultan. I just appreciate the idea of cultural homogeneity when I recognize a need for it.
Your official title is Shev Kevza Sultan. You literally have Sultan in your title.
I don't get the point.
Whatever. By any rate, you need to keep your voice down. I don't want Empress Dowager Shoken to hear. Where is she, by the way? I said no later than 3.
What's so important about Sunni? She's just a Korean. The Koreans are underneath the Manchu thumb.
Well, they were.
Did you guys lose control over Korea?
Shh! Keep your voice down. It's embarrassing. Japan, obviously, with their new Meiji Restoration shtick. And of course, their splendiferous reforms of the 1880s. Now they've got trains and modernized education, and they've completely forgot that at one point they bowed down to China. But it was no use. We lost the Sino-Japanese War fair and square, and now we have nothing.
No, it's not true. You see porcelain. No one can beat Chinese China.
I was trying to put on a brave face, but just modernization just isn't working. I mean, we tried the self-strengthening movement, like they say, learn barbarian methods to combat barbarian threats. We built railways. We set off telegraph lines. Goodness, we developed agriculture, westernized the military, employed capitalist values, but we're still too decentralized. We're still too traditional, too powerless. After all this time, the stupid Treaty of Nanking still hurts us. Those dumb, idiotic opium reforms did nothing but cost us multiple losses to Britain and an unresolved nationwide opium crisis. Goodness, we're just completely hopeless.
Honestly, I feel you. The Ottomans haven't fared too well either. I mean, extraterritoriality has left us with a bunch of French jerks who just get extra privileges through capitulations that left our government weakened, and now we have spheres of influence, not to mention we're much smaller.
But that's the thing. You are smaller. This is China, the country to end all countries. We are printing money before Europeans could order themselves. Now we've paid Britain an indemnity, set up a tariff where of course we suffer, and opened up our trade ports to more influence. Talk about a sphere of influence. It isn't just influence. It isn't just a sphere. It's complete control at this point.
Now, I know you feel a lot of pressure, but don't worry, it'll be okay. I mean, that's why you're here, meeting with the Empress, Dowager Shoken, to get back Korea and save China.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Empress Dowager Zuchi. I'm so appreciative that you invited me over for tea. I brought my friend, Ichio Haiguchi. She's writing a novel about me, so don't mind her. She'll be taking notes. Alright then, so what shall we talk about? Perhaps we'll discuss our modernization efforts? I know that China, especially, you've been really down on your luck, but you really just need to rethink your approach. You know the Meiji slogan, rich country, strong army? Well, we stole that from you. It was originally Fuguwu Kyongbing, back from 200 BCE. But we essentially just used your idea to fight off against the oppressive force that was Matthew C. Perry. He was just as persistent as McCartney and forced us to open up to Western influence, but we realized that this was a problem and decided that we needed to change. So we threw out the Tokugawa shogunate. It was far too outdated, based on these old Confucian principles, and we realized imperialism was the way to go. Well, that's easy for you to say. Your people just go along with everything. You don't have the civil unrest that we do. First it's the Taiping Rebellion, then it's the Boxer Rebellion. When it changes, we fail. And then, when we try to be traditional, it also fails. We can't win.
The Boxer Rebellion was quite an amazing feat for you, Suchi. You wanted to expel all Westerners and their influence, but the Allied forces invaded and left you with a humiliating defeat.
Thanks for the rundown on my humiliation. Just add it to the list of our failures. All of us have failed. It's just some more than others. Shoken, stop acting as if that you're on my side. I know that you think that you're better than China because of all your schmancy economic reforms. I don't think I'm just better than you, Suchi. I think I'm better than Chef Kevza too.
Seriously? It isn't our fault as the Ottomans that Russia, Britain, and France all ganged up on us and made us lose on the Battle of Navarino, making us lose Greece, and then ever since then we've been bleeding territories.
Boo-hoo. All you do is complain. As nations, we always struggle. They always come our way. But our job is to adapt and change. What are you saying? What I'm saying is that both of your empires failed to westernize, and now they're crumbling. And instead of doing something about it, you're just complaining. It's pathetic.
You're comparing complete apples to oranges here. China hasn't even tried to change, but we Ottomans have adapted. Remember Muhammad Ali's reforms? He introduced new crops to improve agriculture. He centralized authority by abolishing the Mamluk system. Heck, he even established a meritocracy. We even took a page out of the Japanese book and strengthened the army and education by hiring Europeans.
Now you're turning your back on China, Chef Kevza. Oh my god, we have tried so many things. Must everyone just continuously forget about the self-strengthening movement? I mean, like, it's literally called self-strengthening. Like, we tried really hard.
You see, you tried, but that doesn't really matter because you failed. Both of your movements failed to solve any of your problems.
You really tell it like it is, don't you, Ichio? But you see, that's what I'm talking about. Chef Kevza, those were awesome reforms and all, but what happened after that?
I mean, Mahmud II's reforms were implemented to stop the decline of the empire, right? So, he abolished the Janissaries, then we implemented the Ottoman Civil Code, and universities were built. But because the Janissaries were gone, people started to revolt.
And Suchi, what happened after the self-strengthening movement? Well, the Boxer Rebellion happened, which, as Ichio explained, was a massive failure. Russia and Japan continued to have influence. Then this John Hay guy from the US, he established an open door policy, which prevented one modern power from having full control, but in the end, we just ended up being used in our trade relations. I mean, we got some good trade out of it, but it just contributed to more rebellion. Now, Sun Yat-sen is preaching his 3 people's principles. What nationalism, socialism, and democracy will do to help the people is beyond me. Don't you see the pattern, though? Every time one of you tries to change or adapt to current situations, people resist. Because they either want tradition or too much change. See, we can't win!
But you could have. You just needed to act faster. See in Japan, when Commodore Perry stepped into Tokyo Bay, we immediately saw the signs. We knew it would happen if we didn't change. So we changed. We threw out the shogun, replaced him with the Meiji, and we industrialized.
But if it isn't broken, don't fix it. No, but if there's even just a slight issue, you fix it immediately because it's gonna come back to bite you later on. When the textile industry started struggling, even just the slightest bit, we'd built up the infrastructure that allowed a Sakichi Toyota to come along and invent an efficient loom.
Oh, so that's why you're the leading producer of textiles now. I was wondering about that. It isn't just textiles. The Toyota loom is an example of our ability to industrialize, and from that, develop not only our industries, but the capital we gain from them.
What Ichio is essentially saying is that Japan is a capitalist wonderland, while China and the Ottoman Empire are slowly marching towards collapse. Or even worse, communism. I know full well that communism mention was a jab at China. But you know what? We've got Sun Yat-sen's principles under control. I mean, who really cares about an equal government? So long as there's money, people will be happy no matter how authoritarian the government.
Money's good and all, but doesn't democracy sound kind of cool? I mean, isn't that what the Young Turks want?
Chef Kevsta, are you hoping for Ottoman collapse?
Well,
I mean, I don't think that makes any sense at all. But anyways, China and the Ottoman Empire are not even remotely similar. I mean, if anything, China's fared much worse. It's just issue after issue. We've never had a moment to centralize the government, even when we tried. I mean, the Ottomans had glimmers of improvement, but we've had nothing. Don't be so overmatic, Suchi. Sure, the severity and the manifestation of your respective empires' decline is not the same. But the core issue, your nation's inability to adapt and overpower Western influence, is the same. But enough of that. I'm so tired of talking about all that political junk. What was the reason you invited me here, Suchi? Can China have Korea back?
you want Korea?
No. You cannot have Korea. Heavens, you weren't even second in line. No, we fought you and then we shoved it to Russia in the Russo-Japanese War. No, Korea and Manchuria, for that matter, are ours. Now Korea's been annexed, and with all those Korean nationalists silenced, Japan can go on and harvest Korea for all her sweet resources.
Imperialist.
Well, you know what they say. If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. But we can beat 'em too. I just couldn't help it. I'm sorry, defeating Russia was just so satisfying. You could tell it made them so mad too. Us little eensy Japan. Big Russia giving land to us, little tiny Japan. Oh, they were really mad. You have no respect for East Asian culture. Ugh, you even dress like a Westerner. Well, rather be rich and westernized than endure a century of humiliation and be traditional. At one point, you wished you were China. Don't forget that. You'd be nothing without us. I honestly, seriously doubt that. If anything, you held us back. When we were your tributary state, we couldn't be rich, so we couldn't be strong. You stripped us of our agency, and now we've replaced you. We've got the army, we've got the resources, we've got the wealth, and you and the Ottoman Empire don't.
Why did I think this would be a fun tea party? You're such an imperial buzzkill, Shokan.
I'm sorry, I just can't hear you over the sound of Japan outlasting the Ottoman Empire. Okay, that's enough. You don't get to joke about empires ending. That's like joking about people dying. That's the point. Almost 600 years and 4,000. I mean, I'm glad the Ottomans are ending, but man, China, it really is the end of an era. Or should I say, dynasty.
Your dress! Oh, Empress!